All right, baby. Let's go. Please turn on the lights. Would you bling? Thank you. Let's start. Welcome, class, again. Dun, dun, dun. All right, today we're going to be talking about goal planning. As always, this is the prototype class, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I just realized it's obvious, but I just realized it consciously that as I prepare the classes, I learn better the details, I learn to explain them better. So it's nice. And for example, I realized not with goal planning, but with other parts of the course of the whatever this is, project LibCol. I realized there are better ways of explaining stuff, and I realized I have to change some parts of the book so it's better explained. Parts, critiques to socialism, analysis of democracy and dictatorships and stuff like this. Like I realized better framings, better ways of modeling about it. So I'm going to record the classes as the state of the book right now, like version 4, but I'm already working on version 5. So maybe some parts of the classes will be a bit outdated, but I will warn about it. Like, okay, what I want to explain now is the way I thought about this like a few weeks ago, but now I just changed my mind because it's better. For example, I think one of the critiques to socialism I have in the book is just wrong. I just realized. But I mean, the conclusion still holds, but the way I reach the conclusion is wrong, I think. I still have to think and sit and there like, yeah, I think I'm wrong. But yeah, anyway, so I'm just gonna improvise as always. In the future, I will record these classes again in Spanish, in English again, but probably without the script because I will already have the intuitive steps of explaining things intuitively and connectedly and linearly. If it's possible, sometimes you have to explain things in a non-linear way. But yeah, we're gonna go with goal planning. I didn't even read this. I wrote this maybe a month ago. I'm gonna just talk about it. As you can see, Capybara is always here, out of battery. That's why it's not really working. So I put Master Shifu here just to, if we don't have this in full power, Master Shifu will provide the full power, whatever. Let's start. Maybe I need water. Yeah, bring some water. Give me 1 second. We're motherfucking back with water. Okay, after all this bullshit introduction, let's start with the serious thing, the real deal. Goal planning. Okay, why is it important? As always, no. First, if you're gonna learn something, you should at least learn why it's important. Well, because everything in life is about setting goals and achieving them. So goal planning. Everything you do is can be considered a goal. Getting stronger, getting more intelligent, getting a house. You have to plan for that. You have to save. You have to maybe invest your money so you get enough money. You have to then pay the house, and you have to plan how you're gonna get the income so you pay the mortgage. If you get a mortgage, maybe you're so rich you just buy the house and you get the house. That can also be a thing, but you have to plan for it. Where are you gonna get the house? Switzerland, South Africa, Guatemala, Canada, Australia. I'm trying to touch all the continents. China. I think I touched Antarctica. If you want to get a house in Antarctica, you really have to do some goal planning. So that's why it's important, right? Everything you want in life, you have to be able to do some goal planning on it. Which at the end of the day, if the goal is complex enough, it's just break down the problem in little steps. You can make every day, every week, every month, depends on the time frame, the complexity of the goal, and then you just do it. That's the hard part, right? Doing it. It's easier to just and then you design the path, but then you have to walk the path. And as a Spanish author said, caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar, which means walker, like the one who walks, walker. There is no path. You make the path as you walk. Sometimes you improvise some parts of the path. That's also important because some goals are very complex. Like mine, like this goal of teaching everyone the basic things. How am I going to do this? I don't know. I'm starting this with YouTube videos. And I started that with the book, and then, okay, let's do YouTube videos, and now let's try to reach more people. I don't know. Caminante no hay camino, se hace camino al andar. That's what I will do. So goal planning, right? This is why you need it. And well, it will depend, of course. I already said it. The complexity of the goal. What is my goal? My goal is to take a walk every day. That's pretty simple, unless you don't have legs. But for most of us, that's pretty simple. So you just walk every day. That's a pretty simple goal. Buying a house, more complex. Trying to convince the whole world in adopting your educational system, like I'm trying to do, more complex. So you need to classify the goal in how complex is this. Also, you have to be aware of your capabilities. If you don't have legs, you have to be aware that going for a walk is going to take a bit more effort. If you do have legs, well, that's going to be easy for you. If you are very good at math, learning some, abstract algebra, it's going to be easier for you, right? So you have to be aware of your capabilities, of your resources, and of the complexity of what you are trying to achieve, which, resources is kind of what you can and cannot do, right? If I have a hoe, not a hoe like a whore, but a hoe like for harvesting, well, then I will harvest the field easier than with my bare hands. That's the thing. That's a capability. Resources grants us capabilities. So another resource is time, right? How old are you? You think you're gonna die in 10 years? Do you think you're gonna die in 60 years? Well, that depends. I'm 22. And I think I'm gonna live long because I take care of my health. So it's setting myself the goal of convincing everyone in the world about all this I'm thinking, which for now it makes sense. And as long as it makes sense, I will try to convince people about it. Well, it's a very complex goal, but I'm also gonna live a long life if no truck crashes me in the street tomorrow. But so you have to take that into account when you are planning something. For example, I have a backup plan. If I die tomorrow because of an accident, my friends will just make TikToks about this and try to make at least someone look at this. And it's not gonna be like me putting all my life effort into preaching this or teaching this. That's a better word. More fit. But also, if I die, suddenly I have friends and family that will be like, hey, this guy was trying to do this. Would you mind to take a look? Maybe he's right. And we get an utopia. Maybe. So just plan for every place, everything, where you are now, what you can, what you cannot do, how you can do things that you cannot do now in the future. And then you build your way to the goal, right? It's like different steps. You start here. The goal is here, and sometimes this distance is too big. You cannot just jump because you cannot. I can only jump. I can jump. Of course, I can jump farther, but it's a metaphor. Whatever pronunciation, I don't give a shit. So you can do little steps that you can actually jump. Okay, and then you do jump. Very abstract explanation. I will give more concrete example later. So what else influences your capabilities? Your intelligence, your health, your money, money is just the tool for organizing resources in society. That's going to be in the next class, actually, resource distribution. So you want to be able to do more, be more healthy, be more intelligent, have more money. So you can make maybe bigger jumps. There's also a biological limit to the size to how much you can do in a day, regardless of your health or your intelligence or your money. The money scales up pretty well because you can hire other people's time and energy. but there's also a limit. Am I recording? I don't. Oh shit! Let me. Yes, I'm recording. Oh, good. So that's it. Like, you have to take into account the complexity of the goal, your capabilities, how much time you got, how much intelligence, how much health, how much money, and that, as I said, that's pretty much related to the engineer's way of thinking, because this is just another system. You have to break down in little parts, understand them, and take action in order to execute. In the engineer's way of thinking, which is the learning process, you just need to learn them, understand them, have them here. But here you have to execute them. It's not only about the idea being here, it's about the idea being here in the real world. So it's kind of like the engineer's way of thinking. If you plan and you are used to the engineer's way of thinking, planning goals is going to be easier for you. Now, everything is very abstract, and we should have, as we know, we are humans, we need static rules sometimes to start understanding, to start processing the world. And what can we do, right? How can we analyze the goal planning schema? Well, first we can start, let's use another one. We can start on classifying goals in different, different categories. For example, how long do you think it's going to take you, right? Short-term goals, short T, medium T, long T. Okay. I mean, in my opinion, and this is just an opinion, a short-term goal is a goal that takes you at most 1 year to achieve. A mid-time is like, yeah, exactly. I still think the same as when I wrote this. 1 year, more than 1 year to 5 years. Okay, this is at least 1 year. So if you know about math and intervals, this would make sense. More than a year included, yeah, because it's greater than, and to 5 years, yeah, that's included too. This is more like a university degree. If you realize, a midterm goal is usually university degrees, have like 4+ years. Most of them is 4 years. Some are 5, some are 6, but this is the minority of them. So midterm goal, thinking more like a university degree thing. And a long-term goal is 5+, whatever it takes more than 5 years to accomplish until you die. Let's not infinity. Let's put a school until you die. No, death, no. We don't want this. Okay. Okay, this is a nice advice. I will say it later. I don't know how I should have written this. Should have read this before recording the class. No problem. It's a prototype. Okay, these are an interesting starting point, right? About your goal. Getting fit, getting healthy. If you are in a very, very bad situation, it will be a midterm. Like, if you're very obese, it's gonna take you like maybe 2 years to get to normal levels, if you do it in a consistent and healthy way. If you are not that bad, with 1 year should be fine to get a decent amount of health, with consistency and effort, of course. But in 1 year, if you do that, university degrees, scientific discoveries, 5+ years, buying a house, 5+ years, being happy in a sustainable way, 5+ years, being happy in a short way. You can do it in one afternoon, What else goals can you have? Seeing your family every month, that's a pretty short-term goal. But learning usually falls here. Okay, learning something properly, then getting into an expertise, more like here. But at least having the understanding, the capability of being able to talk and ask non-super stupid questions to experts should fall between in here. But now with the AI era, maybe it's gonna fall here, to be honest. We will see. So these are examples of goals. Now what do I have here? Oh, this is like, sure, 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 sure. Because you don't only have to think about it, right? That's the easy part, thinking it. Then you have to do it, and to do it, you need motivation. You need, at least some people will say, you need discipline, you need motivation, you need both. Reality is always both. So, what are some questions you can ask yourself in order to choose a goal? Okay, maybe I should have started with that, right? First you choose the goal and then you analyze it. Okay, maybe I should have started the class with that. When I record the official class, I will do that. So, questions you can ask yourself. What do you want? Man, I'm a genius. I'm a genius, man. You want something? What's the question? What do you want? Damn, 200 IQ here. will you want it in the future? That's a very important question, because now you think, oh, I would like to be a physicist, so I'm gonna choose the physicist career. But that's what you want now. Do you really think that you will want that in the span of 4 years that it usually takes you to become decent at physics? When it's a short-term goal, you don't really care that much about will I want it in the future, because it's just a 1 year goal. But when it's a midterm or long-term, you really have to be sure. I mean, you can just do it and fuck it, and then go and adapt on the way. Exploring is part of what makes us human, so don't really get too paralyzed for that. But if you know for sure that you will want it in the future, that's a very good point in your favor. But also, don't get too paralyzed on this question, like, oh shit, I don't really know, so I'm gonna do nothing. No, that's also not something you should do, actually. Like, as I said, if you are being unhappy, if you're bored, if you are just being human, with survival statistically granted, what you have to do now is just have fun, entertain yourself, get some freaking dopamine. It's not just dopamine, but you know what I mean, right? This is the terminology that is trending nowadays. Just get some fucking dopamine on your brain. But if your goal is very long, but just think about it. Will I want it when I actually achieve it? For example, playing an instrument. Oh, that's of course, playing an instrument. That's something really. Playing an instrument decently, I think it's here. Of course, experts always here. What instrument? Piano, guitar, the harp, violin. That makes sense, right? Yeah. What else? What else? Why do you want it? That's very important. Why do you want it? Because of this, this, and this. Will I still want that 5 years later, 10 years later? Will the reasons be the same, or at least do you think you will still have some reasons to still wanting it? Because imagine you. I mean, it doesn't really matter if you fail. It's part of the process. But imagine you are playing violin. Okay, and then you start doing it. You are 5+ into the thing, and then you're like, I don't really care about violin anymore. You stop. Then all these 5+ years, you could have been doing another thing that you actually would have enjoyed for longer, and this would have granted you more happiness in total, in the overall path. But of course, you don't really know, because planning for long term is really difficult. There's just lots of variables. So don't feel too bad about this. Like, really don't bang your head. If you already know something is gonna be good with you 8+ year, I would recommend going with that. But if you're unsure, don't get paralyzed by it. It's just impossible for human brains to understand or to predict what is gonna be their life in 5+ years. So this is just a preference, okay? It's not a rule. If you already know something, you're really sure you're gonna enjoy for 8+ years, go for it. Go for it instead of the 5 uncertain years, because overall it's gonna grant you more stability, more happiness. But it also depends on you. Do you want to take more risk? Don't you want to take more risk? As you can see, there's lots of variables. And what do you have to do this the best way you can? Maximize your intelligence and optimize for your happiness. Everything goes together. Everything connects. So yeah, it's just a reference. It's like fuck the violin. Okay, this is not a drawing class. For example, the health thing. Why do you want to get healthy? Do you want to attract more boys with your body, with your booty? Or you want to attract more girls with your muscles? You want to just be healthy and live a longer life? Do you want to get rid of something that it's actually, I have a pain in my wrist and I want to have a very strong wrist so I can stop having the pain in the wrist? That can be a motivation. But of course, if you heal your wrist in 1 year and then you stop doing exercise and then your health goes like, it's better to find better, okay? But not better as the thing you must do, but the thing you should prioritize. If you cannot prioritize this because you don't know or you don't really care, okay, just live your life, man. Go out there, think, explore, learn, make mistakes. Life hack. So people say, learn from your mistakes. That's a loser's mindset. You have to learn from the mistakes of others so you don't get fucked. You observe people making mistakes, you write it down as like, okay, this doesn't work. Blim, and the next time you are in that situation, you don't make the mistake. And everyone will be like, oh, this guy is a genius. How did he know? Wow, he has super good instincts. And it's gonna be like, nah, I just learn from others' mistakes. It's something I do. Like, I've made not I would say I haven't made much mistakes in my life, and I think it's because I see people fail and I write it down in my brain, actually, not here. But I'm like, so this doesn't seem to work. Okay, why is that? And then I don't have to make the mistake myself. Learning from your mistakes is good, actually. It's not the loser's thing. But learning from other people's mistake, genius move, motherfucker. That's the thing. So you can also, okay, I'm gonna connect this to goal planning because it has a connection. If you know someone who has been learning violin for 5+ years, go ask him, what mistakes did you do? What you could have done better, faster, more efficient, or you could have done to enjoy the process more. Sometimes making the process more efficient doesn't make you enjoy it more. Okay, so you if you explore, talk to people, like not through you can talk to them through Instagram and stuff like this, but if it's face to face, better. Prioritize face to face. But if you cannot do it, just message them on Instagram. Hey man, what do you think about violin? What are your feelings? What was the starting point? What could you have done better? Do you regret it? Why do you regret it? Don't you regret it? Why don't you regret it? What are the benefits violin brought to you in your life? For example, my friend Juanjo, he plays violin like a god. He's been playing for years. He was playing, I think, for 12 years, but that was 3 years ago, so probably he's been playing now for 15 years. He can improvise whatever the shit he wants in that violin, and it sounds like magic. So what did Juanjo do with this skill? We gathered with friends in the friend's flat, and we made jam sessions. And we invited more friends who are not musicians, and we sang together. And everyone's like, wee, 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 wee. And Leo was with the guitar, and I was doing random shit with percussion, maybe with the clothing rack, cling, 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 cling. And it sounded so good. It was such a good time. So what are the benefits you can get from this goal? That could be also motivation. When you are very tired, well, if you're tired, you have to rest. You have to sleep first. Then, if you are like, I don't really want to do this, you can also think about the good things it's going to bring you in the future. And that, for me, it works. Like, I will be able to do this. I really want to do this. In my case, I learned to play the piano in a normal level because I always saw these YouTube videos of random people in pianos around the world playing together. And I'm like, wow, this looks magical. How does this even work? What the hell? And I was intrigued. And I started learning, and now I can do that. Not at such a high level as some YouTube videos have around there, but I can do that, and I've found that, and it's super nice. It's motivation, Like, I don't feel like practicing piano today. Shit. you think about, oh, but if I practice piano today, in the future I will be able to do this beautiful thing. So that can also be a motivation source. Some people say, discipline, I don't care, just do it, okay? Just do it. And then continue with your life, which is a totally valid strategy. It's not my style, but it can work for some people. So also have it into account. What was I talking about? There's just so many things you can say about goal planning. I should structure this more for the official class. So what will you want it for the same reasons? Will you imagine imagine, okay, this is going to be a very sad example. Imagine you are 87 years old and you don't know violin and you want to learn violin because you want to be like Juanjo and you want to play jam sessions with your friends. But then, maybe it takes you 10 plus years to learn, but 87, 97-year-old, how much people right now reaches this age? Not much. Maybe you die. Okay, so sad outcome. What I said earlier, right? You have to take into account your time left and all this stuff. Wow, why was I saying this? Oh shit! Oh damn! I got a brain explosion. Boom. Memory wiped out. Cache memory wiped out. I'm a computer scientist, by the way. Cache memory. I'm not gonna explain what cache memory is. We are talking about goal planning. What the hell, motherfuckers? Let's go. So what you feel, analyze it. Oh, true. Of course. You have to know yourself. What things do I like? Why things do I need? Because goal planning is not always about things that will make you happy. Sometimes you need something like money and stuff like this. And some people might say, no, but you have to do what makes you happy, blah, blah, blah. We will talk about this in resource distribution classes because that's a pretty complex topic. But sometimes you have to do it for a need, not for an enjoyment. So the motivation of, if I do this, I will enjoy this activity later more. That maybe doesn't apply to get money, right? If I work now, tomorrow I will work and I will enjoy working more. Maybe not. But if you work now, I get money. If I get money, when I have free time in the future, if you even have free time, that's another time. That's another aspect. Then you will be able to spend the money. Blah blah blah. We will talk more about money and stuff like this in the next classes. Experiment. Yeah, explore, experiment. I don't know if I like knitting. Let's do it. Go and do it. Go to a class of knitting. Talk to people who like knitting. Hey, let's try it out. I don't know if I like it. Let's try it out. Do I like parachuting? You go jump out of a plane with a professional. Don't do it without a professional. Do I like scuba diving? Go give it a try. Do you like if you have the money, of course? Like that's. I think it's obvious, right? From the assumptions I'm talking about this. Do you like cycling? Well, go cycling. Do you like do you like men? Go kiss a man. I mean, I don't like men, but if you like it, go try it out. Go try it. Whatever thing. Just experiment if you are unsure, in a safe way. Okay, don't just jump from a plane without a parachute and without a professional. That's gonna be like the old man here. That's okay. Experiment with safety, with let's say horizon expansions that are proportional to your intelligence, to the amount of variables you can handle. Okay, if you have social anxiety, but you are unsure if you like big concerts, don't just go in, because maybe you panic and you faint, like don't do that. Just start with a smaller crowd of people. Go with your friends, just in case. If you have friends, if you don't have friends, I don't know, go with your family, or maybe go see a psychologist and ask for help. Anything, just the amount of variables, as I said, of things you can do to reach your goals and to experiment and to do stuff, it's just so big. That's why you have to maximize intelligence and just be, versatile. What else? Let's see. Motivation, pressure. Some people like pressure, as I said. If that's one of you, like, oh fuck, if I don't do this in the next week, I die. Metaphorical example. Oh shit, I will be a complete disaster. Some people like this pleasure. Pleasure, not pressure. Oh, pleasure and pressure? Similar words, but completely different. Interesting. Some people like pressure. I don't like pressure. I hate pressure. If you put me pressure, I would perform horribly. If you give me freedom, I perform amazingly. But this depends. So you can experiment also with pressure. Go try something under a pressure environment. See if you perform better or not. And then you know. What else? Some people like, the positive emotions. Like what I said, like, oh, in the future I will be able to do jam sessions with my friends and everything will be so fun. Motivate yourself with that. Automation, that's something really good for long-term or mid-term goals. Habits, routines, automation, not having to think about something. When you're going to do something, if you have to think about doing that something, that's energy that goes into the thinking. And the more energy you spend, the less you will be able to you spend into thinking about doing it, the less energy you will use doing it. So if you can automate it and your body goes automatically, like for example, every Wednesday at 4 p.m. I go training, no matter what. And your body will do it automatically if you do it for maybe 2 months in a row. And then you will not have to just think about it. Maybe put some alarm in your phone to remind you, like, time to train, time to train, time to train. So for some people it works. For other people, this stresses them out. So you have to experiment. You have to move. Try with your body. Every human is quite a bit different. We are all the same shit. We are all the same brain and bodies and biologies, but we are slightly different sometimes with things like this. Do you like pressure? Don't you like pressure? Is it useful for you? Schedules, habits. Usually, if it's middle or long term, you need habit. You need it. Whether you like schedules or not, you need it. So in my case, I hate schedules, but I'm able to achieve medium and long term goals. How do I do that? Well, I just try to be as free as it's very difficult. If you don't like schedules, and it's just very difficult, and sometimes it might be impossible, and you will have to just swallow your enjoyment and use discipline. And I'm gonna do the schedule, and that's it. If you really want the mid to long term goal. In my case, I'm lucky enough to have been in an environment that led me to have a nice job, which I work remotely. I work whenever I want, as many hours as I want, as long as I do the job. So that gives me so much flexibility that I don't need schedules. I just need the motivation. And I'm really good at finding motivation for achieving my goals. For example, this is my personal case. So I work with motivation and flexibility. That's what makes me achieve this. But it's completely fine. It's just human. It's just natural. If some people, instead of motivation plus flexibility, what they require is determination and schedule, discipline. Some people work like that. And some people just cannot afford. Like I've been lucky enough to take the decisions I took that led me to the situation I am right now, which I kind of calculated it, predicted it, but not fully. I've been a bit lucky too. So, just use your resources, use your situation, be aware of it, and exploit it in a way that doesn't harm others, please. But that's the thing. What else can you do for motivation? Automation, habits, routines, whatever of these words. Oh, this is also another interesting thing. If you've never planned for something, for anything in your life, like you've been guided by people all the time, or by institutions, or by your parents, or whatever. A good thing you can do is start with the short term and do a routine, a plan, a goal for the week. Okay, you start with 1 week. If you don't mind about schedules, just say, I'm gonna do this on Monday, on Wednesday, lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves, viernes, sábado, domingo. Okay, I was speaking Spanish, don't worry about it. So I'm gonna do it on Mondays, and on Wednesdays, and on Sundays, 3 times a week, because my goal requires that. For example, getting normal basic training. But if you don't really like schedules, a little trick you can do is, I'm gonna do it 3 times a week. When? I don't give a shit. Whenever I feel like it. But I should be able to feel like it 3 times a week. And do this. Start with 1 week planning, then go for 1 month planning. Okay, then pick a skill or something you want to learn or to do, that will require around 1 month. If you don't know if it's going to require 1 month, at least try it. At least try it. And the more you try and fail, of course, you're not going to nail it. Oh, I think this goal is going to take me 2 years, but it actually takes you 1 year. Oh, that's good, like more time for me. But I thought it was going to take 1 year, but it takes me 4 years. Holy shit. This has happened to me. But then just do it. Try and fail. Don't assume that you're going to make the right decision every time. And just see. And the more you try and the more you fail, the better you will be at estimating how long it actually takes you. Another thing to actually know how long something takes you, put yourself to your limits. Okay, to your natural limits without consumption of drugs. So you understand what your body is really capable of, right? Like, just eat healthy, whatever bullshit you want to say. It's not bullshit. It's just the way I say it. Sleep well. Go out with friends. Talk to people so you have your social life satisfied. Do everything well, but also, or at least in a decent way, and push yourself to the limits. Try to do every day more, until you just explode, until you explode your body, and then you have to be 1 week doing nothing, maybe sleeping all day because of how hard you have tried. This is based on real facts, and then you know your limits, and then you can better classify the goals according to more realistic perception of society and of reality. This is something I've done. For example, to get my job, I had to study on my own because, well, now there are a lot of resources, but 2.5 years ago when I started, there were not much resources about how to hack cryptocurrencies. So I had to learn on my own. I put so much hours. I just was crazy. So I put so much effort. I was like, oh my God, I cannot go farther. Am I a failure? And then I realized I'm not a failure. I'm just a human that has a limit. You cannot just study for 12 hours a day every day. That's not going to hold for long. Maybe you can do it for 1 day. Maybe you can do it for 2 days, but then it's going to decrease. So know your limits. And how do you know your limits? Testing them. Physical limits. The test of physical limits. Be careful. Yeah. Don't just, let's see how much I can squat, and you put 400 kilos on your back and then you die. Okay? Be reasonable when testing your limits. Don't test the highest limit the first time. Go to something that looks challenging, but not too much. You test it. You pass the test. You go to the next small challenge. You pass this next small challenge. You increase it a bit. You increase it a bit until you see that, okay, this is completely, this is impossible for me. Okay, this is the maximum velocity of challenges I can take. For example, another personal example, just to give a realistic, less general thing, more real life thing. I like a lot of stuff. For example, I'm not playing piano right now. I had to stop it. Why? Because I realized my limits. I cannot just be thinking about cheerfulism, planning all these classes, socializing with people, working in my job. What else I used to do? Training, dancing. I cannot just do everything at the same time because I just don't have the energy. And it's a biological limit. Even if I drink 4 coffees a day, I just can't. I explode, and my body, when you're in the limit, the body just stops working. The same way when you're in the physical limit and your bicep just cannot lift more, your mind also has this limit. And I've reached it multiple times, like pretty recently when I was trying to do all this stuff at the same time. And also when I was working or trying to learn my job, I put too much of mind effort. And what happens when you reach your mind limit? Maybe some of you don't know. You just cannot think. You're just like, you're just existing, but the mind cannot think. You try to talk to people and you cannot follow the conversation because your brain listens but doesn't understand. It's just noise. Like literally it stops working. You go to sleep, you wake up, and then everything is fine. Okay, but if you push your brain to the limits, even with caffeine, which is not that bad of a drug, but it's a drug. Don't use drug to push your limits. That's why I said test your limits without drug consumption, because that's a more realistic approach. to what you can and cannot do in a way you can achieve long term. Because if you use drugs, your long term health is going to deteriorate. So maybe because of your drug usage, you don't reach your goals because you die because of drug consumption, or maybe you get some illness and you would have healed the illness, but because you have been 3 years consuming whatever drug, your body is not that well prepared to get the illness, and maybe you lose a leg because of that illness. Usually it's not just one thing that fucks you up, it's the aggregation of small little things that you've been doing wrong that eventually explode in your face. And then you have to sit and think, what the fuck happened? And because it's a combination of a lot of things, you have to think for a while and just sit in silence, maybe with a professional like a psychologist or something. I don't know, I've never been to a psychologist, but people say it works, so I guess it's fine to say that, to recommend it. So yeah, why was I saying all this? Oh yeah, the personal example of limits. So I couldn't just keep up with the piano classes, with dancing, with cheerfulism, with my work, getting better at hacking, with talking to people. I had to sacrifice something, and I was miserable. I was not that happy because I was in my limits. So I just said, okay, something has to go, and for now it's gonna be piano. So I'm not practicing piano anymore. I wish I was like not human with ultra human limits so I can do everything. I also want to learn math, and I cannot. I just don't have enough time to do everything. But when I'm old, I would do it. When I finished some of the projects, or when I'm super rich, I don't have to work anymore, I'll do these other things. But know your limits. I'm stating mine because these are the ones I know the best, and these are like real examples from which I learned these lessons that actually worked. But remember, to each person works differently. Okay, some people prefer pressure, some people don't prefer pressure, and all this stuff. Okay, what else? Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you the main ideas, the main principles, and then to your own specific situation, you will use your different techniques, like applying pressure, not applying pressure, at times applying a schedule, not applying a schedule, starting with short-term goals and getting used to it, to at least breaking down the problem. And then you try to break down more complex problem. Try to teach yourself some university degree on your own, with ChatGPT, with YouTube videos, with whatever. Try to do that. That's also a good thing. For example, I'm doing that with math. MIT courses online. It's a university free course. You can do that. Long-term goals, like being healthy for the rest of your life. That's a long-term goal. And you will realize what works better for you and what doesn't. What else? Oh, I have a little note here about habits. When you do habits, you don't really have to do them all the time. As long as you do them more times than you don't do them, as a general rule, it's fine, right? I need to work out 3 times a week. Okay, if 1 week you only work out 2 times, it's not going to be the end of the world. As long as you keep being consistent, most of the times, right? For example, you have 6 weeks here, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7. Now you have 6 weeks here. And you see, you didn't follow the routine 2 weeks. That's 2 out of 6, which is 1/3, which is 33% of the time. But you actually followed it for, which is 1 minus 66% of the time. How strict you have to be with your goal? Well, it depends. For example, with training, you want to improve your physical capabilities, then this should be fine. But for example, the more you gain muscle, this is just a principle, the harder it is for you to get even more and more muscle. Okay, so at the beginning you gain a lot of muscle, but then it plateaus. It keeps increasing, but then you hit your biological limit at some point, or at least it keeps increasing, but very, very, very slowly. It keeps increasing. So this is just a natural rule. And the more you approach to this, the more consistent you have to be. Maybe if you are not consistent, I'm gonna sneeze. Maybe not. If you're not consistent, or not that much consistent at the beginning, it doesn't really matter because it's very easy to go up. But the more you improve, this is maybe 5 years plus of training or 7 year plus of consistent training, the more consistent you have to be. So maybe after 7 years, you can only miss your routine for 10% because you need more effort. So the more complex is your goal and the more long-term you have been doing it, the harder it is for you to improve. For example, coming back to the piano practice. At the beginning, I could just do it. I could just play piano, be a hacker, be a philosopher, and be everything because my piano level was inferior. So I didn't need to practice maybe 3 hours a day to improve. Maybe with 15 minutes away, I could improve. But then piano got so complex, the amount of muscle memory I had to have required maybe 2 hours a day or 2 hours a day for 3 days a week at least. So when the more expert you get at something, the more consistency you have to get at it. Also, my abilities of hacking got better, which means I just need to put more time into it, or more focus, or more energy. Okay, sometimes you don't have to think about it in time, but in energy, because everything you do, it just makes you more tired. So you really have to planify what are you gonna do and what you're not gonna do. Okay, and there's something that's getting pretty trendy nowadays, which is like time in social media. Oh, I don't spend much time in social media. Okay, but that's energy you're actually spending. That's focus of your brain looking at the posts, which could go all that energy to something else. So sometimes you don't really have to think about only time, but also energy. So that's the thing. I was reaching decent levels on everything I practice, on all my hobbies, and then it required more. But of course, I cannot just train 1.5 hours a day for 3 days a week and also work and improve my hacking skills and also practice piano, let's say 2 hours, 3 days a week. And then also I cannot just socialize on top of that. And then you also have to sleep properly. You start adding things up and you can't. Maybe you're better than me. Your biology is just better than mine and you could do this. But in my case, that's my limit. I'm not that smart. This is the limit of my dumbness. Call me dumb if you want, but that's the limit. And take into account that the more professional you become, the more consistent you have to become sometimes. And there is a limit of things you can do professionally because they will require a lot of training to get there. And usually maintaining it takes less effort than creating it. But maybe it doesn't apply to all the things. For training, it does. But for instrument skills, I don't know. So, yep. That's another thing to take into account. Shit, this is gonna fall. So I've said this. Habits. This is the thing. You can cheat your habits sometimes, but it depends on all this. Make it automatic. Make it like you don't even have to think to do the habit. And sometimes it's not about, remember the beginning when we said the starting point and little steps you have to take to reach to the goal. Sometimes it's not about going to this step. Maybe you didn't break it down enough and there's actually an intermediate step that you're missing. So for example, with physical training is very obvious, so I'm going to use that. Lifting 100 kilos. Okay, maybe the intermediate step is lifting 50 first. Okay, so don't try to rush too much because sometimes it's just biologically impossible. Like you cannot just know how to program and hack NASA. Okay, that's the NASA, and it's in English. Maybe it's NASA. I think it's pronounced similar, NASA. So you cannot just do one jump here. You need small jumps. Like code analysis, DOS attacks, blah 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 blah. Then boom, hack NASA if you manage to. Yeah, with for example, losing weight or getting a better. I don't like the term losing weight. I prefer the term getting a better physical composition, because it's not about how much you weigh, really. It's about how much percentage of that weight is muscle, how much percentage of that weight is fat, and the other things like water and stuff like this. So, but also, it's not about getting very low fat percentages. That's also bad, but it's more about the proportion of your weight. Doesn't matter if you weigh 80, 70, 40. I mean, yeah, okay, the weight matters, but it's not the only thing that matters. So I don't really like the term using weight. So if you have the goal of getting a better physical composition, okay, you will clearly have to have a diet and exercise and repeat it in a loop. And someday you will arrive to the goal. But maybe you cannot just follow the whole diet today. So maybe you can do little steps. Today I will do this part of the diet. Like instead of drinking Coke, you drink zero Coke. That's an improvement. Small improvement, but improvement. Then another little improvement. Okay, now instead of going to Burger King and ordering fries with the burger, I will order a salad with the burger. Little improvement. And now I'm going to reduce my calories 100 kilocalories because I want to lose weight. Little improvement. And then the next week will be 150. Little improvement. And whenever you don't realize, you will not even realize it, or you will have suffered less, and you will reach the goal of, now I have a nice diet. And once you have that, you can start working out on your physical training. You don't really have to do both at the same time. If you can do both at the same time, better. But if your intelligence or your context, maybe you're doing so much stuff that you cannot just focus on diet and exercise. Maybe because like me, like maybe you're playing piano, you're also hanging out with friends. Maybe you are also learning some degrees in university, and you're doing a part-time job to pay the university. And maybe you don't have time to do health and training at the same time. So you start with one, you get good at it, you create a habit so you don't have to think about it, and then you go to the next one, like training. And then from here you start, okay, let's do one training session a week. In 3 weeks, I will start with 2 training sessions. Then I will learn to train flexibility. And slowly but surely, you will get to the final goal of a healthy lifestyle. Okay? You don't really, that's the other thing. Another example of, hey, don't just try to get to the end goal with one step. Precisely in medium term to long term things, you need more than one step. In short term, maybe sometimes you can do it in one step. It depends a lot on your conditions. Are you working part-time and doing a university degree while also having a hobby? Are you a retired person? Retarded? Not retired. I think we said retired. Well, if you're retarded, well, you also have to take that into account because you are not that smart. So just take into account your stuff, okay? If there's any retarded person watching this, I hope it helps you, because you can also do a lot of things. There's a lot of retarded person who are independent, living humans. I know some, and that's incredible. Like they can do things that seem very complex for them. We can also do this. It's super. The human animal. It's so fascinating. Let's continue. More tips and tricks of goal planning. Okay, you can pick a difficult thing to do. Okay. Which is like another technique you can do to get good at something, or at least to get good at learning things. You can pick a random thing. You don't even have to like it. It's better if you pick something that you like. Yeah, I'm gonna use green again. If you pick something that you like and something you don't like, or you don't really care about it, because it's also useful in life to be able to do stuff and be and learn stuff that you don't really care or you even dislike. It's a nice, because sometimes life is just very, very random and you have to do stuff you don't really like, or like working in jobs you don't really like. So if you can get used to all of this and develop your own tips and tricks to be able to adapt to these situations, this is running out of, well, if you can develop those skills better, which as I said, they are different for each human. But the principal ideas are this. How much time am I recording this? 55 minutes. Damn. I mean, the first 10 minutes were just bullshit. Just me talking around about the curse and stuff. So choose something that will take you like around 1,000 hours. This is like if you put 1,000 hours into something, you'll probably get a job. Probably. Don't take it as an assurance, but it's like job level thing. Okay? 1,000. Yeah, maybe if it's like a very difficult job, like neuron surgery, maybe you need more than this. But for normal jobs with some level of complexity, it should be fine. So pick something that takes 1,000 hours. You can start with that reference and just do it. If it's something you like, good. You can also try to do something you don't really care or something you dislike. If it's something you dislike, maybe don't, if you are not that masochist, go to 300 hours. But at least you should be exposed to things you like, things you don't care, and things you dislike. So you are more versatile human. And then you should also not only have goals alone, but have goals with a group. Teamwork, that's very important. Pick something with a friend or a group of friends that will take you, each of us, like 350 hours of individual effort to combine and make a result with that. And yeah, whatever. Maybe this is too much. Maybe that's difficult to coordinate people nowadays. Everyone has different schedules and stuff. But if you can manage to get a group, you don't really need to be friends, just a group with a similar goal. Practice things that you need a group to do, because that's fucking human nature. And you not only have to be good at yourself, but also at working and existing with others, because that's how life is. We cannot survive without each other, basically. So that's another approach. Commit to something for X amount of hours. Usually, to spend 1,000 hours in something, if you can always only spend 2 hours a day, it will be a midterm goal. If it can only spend like maybe 1 hour a day, maybe this also already falls here. I'm not gonna do the math now, but you know what I get. You know what I mean, I think. That's it. I think this is everything I had here. This class is pretty random. It's not very structured, neither in the way I recorded it, neither in the way I wrote it. So I have to understand goal planning better, because for me it's something I've always done intuitively, and I've always succeeded intuitively. But I've never sit down and think about what are the fundamentals of goal planning. And because I didn't need it, because I was good at it by default, well, I never sit and pondered like, But yeah, I'll do that in the future and make a better class. Probably I will read a book about it. But it's difficult because sometimes this topic, and with this I will end the class, I think. Yeah. This topic is sometimes taught and spoken from a very, how am I gonna say this, motivational point of view. Like, yeah, goal planning, let's go for it, guys, life is good, yeah, let's go. All these self-help books or something like this, I think they are called, I'm not sure, I've never read them, but there's something about them that doesn't call my attention, because it's not only about I don't know how to explain this, but there's something that feels wrong about that. So I don't think it's just about, oh yeah, let's be happy, self-help, like motivate yourself, find the things you want to do, all these super positive messages, which are fine. You need positive messages in life, but I think they overuse them. But I'm just being judgmental right now because I've never read one of these books. so so don't take my words seriously right now. I'm not even taking myself seriously right now with these words. So why would you? So the thing is, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel realistic when I listen to people talk about these things, you know, just for it, but it's a feeling. I haven't sit down and think through it, analyze it. So yeah, I don't really like the way I've heard about goal planning, achieving success, creating routines. At least maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just biased, and what I've heard is actually bullshit. But there's out there some content that is not bullshit. And I don't even know if what I heard is bullshit. It just feels like bullshit to me, but it's just a feeling. It's just a prejudice. So, yeah, maybe one day I sit and think about it. That's it for today. Capybara, you can shine a bit more. How do you say this in English? Oh my god, I knew it. Parpadear. Sparking? No. Now I will look the translation now. The class is over, by the way. You can turn off the video. Thank you, Shifu, for being there. Let me check the translation now. I'm curious. Blinking. Aha. Okay, I still haven't checked it out, but just came up to my mind. Parpadear. Blink. Exactly. Oh, there's more. Flicker, wink, twinkle. Oh, twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, I see. Anyway, that's it.